Hello, my name is Julie, and today I'm finally showing you the box. So I've acquired quite a few books in the last little bit, mainly secondhand, and both my college graduation and my birthday are coming up, so I thought I should do this before I do that. I think I have 13 books to show you, and that does not include any audiobooks that I've gotten because I'm not even keeping track of that right now. So the very first book that I got this year is the first of the Year of Sanderson boxes. I got the subscription to get quarterly boxes, so I am getting the leather-bound copies of each of the 4 books that are going to be coming out this year. So I reboxed this, so you can rebox.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
But the box has a quote from Wit in it, and there is a giant Wit bookmark that says World Hopper on it, and these are different places in the Cosmere shown in constellations, which is so cool. We have a Tress sticker, which I don't even know where to put this. I need a water bottle to put things on, and this beautiful holographic Tress bookmark, which this art is also in the book. And my favorite thing besides the book is this pin that is Vin from Mistborn. I adore her, and this pin is very, very high quality, and I can't wait to put it on my board with all my Disney pins. Tress of the Emerald Sea is the first book, and honestly the one I was most excited for. It's the one I knew the most about, but it's inspired by The Princess Bride. It was written as a story from Brandon to his wife. This leather-bound copy is so stunning, and it has a lot of art. There are like 3 full-color art pieces, and the rest are like 1 color. And the end pages are very cute. And we have our talking rat, Huck, in the back. This book was an absolute pleasure, and I'm so happy that I ended up getting this because I am such a big fan of Brandon's. So hopefully I will be getting the next book sometime in April. It might be a little bit late. And then in February, my dad's Valentine's Day present to me was the 2 of us went used book shopping. That is something that we absolutely love doing, and he had not been to the 2 used bookstores that are in my college town, so I found quite a few between the 2 bookstores that I went to. First, I found Star Eater by Kirsten Hall. I know very little about this. It's a debut fantasy, and it seems very feminist. Our main character is trying to avoid pregnancy and a betrothal, and there is like a sisterhood of people who are trying to help women. So this kind of gives me a little bit of Red Sister vibes. Honestly, it has a little bit of a low rating on Goodreads, but I don't know. I have good feeling about this. And also in the sci-fi fantasy category, I found Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is the first in what I believe is a trilogy. It is a sci-fi romantic. This is about 2 princes who are in a political arranged marriage to stop an intergalactic war, but it like happens anyway. And honestly, I really do love an arranged marriage fantasy plot. So I think that this is gonna be a really fun one. All of these books I got from Reader's Corner, and I think the rest of them are mostly literary fiction, maybe a little bit of speculative. But this is Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. I had not seen this cover until like a week before I got this. Like the other cover I was not into at all, but this one, stunning. This is Colson Whitehead wrote The Underground Railroad and is a really beloved author and awarded author. This was a Literally Dead book club pick for last year, and I think I got pretty good reviews. It is dystopian. It's a post-apocalyptic horror that takes place in New York. My book club is currently reading dystopian books, and this is one that I think I might try to make our 3rd book. I'm probably going to be really a proponent of this one. I was absolutely shocked to see this one because this is really new, and this is Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn. This is a literary fiction that I've had on my radar for a little bit. And this is about a family in Hawaii in the 90s as the sugarcane industry is breaking down. And I believe that there's like a shark attack that happens at the beginning, but there is also some sort of speculative element that I don't know much about. But I've just heard really great reviews of this book, and I kind of want to go in knowing nothing. I love literary fiction that surrounds a family, and I think that this could be a 5-star for me. And I am really obsessed with this cover. I really love the trend of like some sort of art and then like the handwriting on it. The juxtaposition of like the art in the text, I really love. I also found My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I did want to pick this up secondhand because I have already read this, but this is a literary fiction that I absolutely love. It's about our main character, Vanessa, who when she was a teenager and through most of her life was in a sexual relationship with her English teacher at a boarding school, and he has just committed suicide after more allegations have come forward from other girls who went to that school. And she is trying to deal with the aftermath of that and reflecting on the relationship as reporters are asking her to come forward. And she's really struggling because if she does not frame it in her mind as a romantic relationship, then she does not know how to cope. And this is one of the most difficult books I've read. It is so well done and it has stayed with me. This is definitely one of those books that was a 4.5 star, and if it stayed with me, it was going to get bumped up, and definitely has. And a couple of paperbacks. For literally 10 cents, I found The Air Affair. This is not like a perfect copy, and I hate this cover, but I love Jane Eyre, and my high school senior year English teacher recommended me this series. It's a cozy mystery series where a female detective named Thursday Next gets sent into different classic novels and has to solve mysteries. As much as I hate this cover, it was 10 cents for the same story, so I don't mind. And I also found People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Could not believe that this was like $5. This was like ridiculously cheap for a copy that's in perfect condition. I read this last year and I really loved it. This is a friends to lovers rom-com where our two main characters have been best friends since college and every year have gone on vacation together, but a couple of years ago something happened on one of these vacations that they haven't talked since. And now that our main character is in a rut at her job, which involves her being a like travel blogger person, and so she decides that when there's a wedding going on, she is going to try to reconnect with her old best friend to try to have a last hurrah, have one of these vacations again, and hopefully spark that joy that she usually has about traveling. And maybe find what the most important part of vacation is: the people. Well, I think that like the third act fighting in this book maybe made this relationship, maybe it's not gonna work out, but like I really love the couple. I love the scenes of them being in love with each other, and then the mutual pining is exactly what I want in a romance, and I think that's something that I've learned in rom-coms that I'm really looking for. So I just read Book Lovers. I would probably put these two on par with each other in quality, but I do think this is going to stick with me longer, even if the other couple I think is probably going to stay together longer than these two are. And the last one I found at Reader's Corner was The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. If you haven't seen in my previous videos, I have a novel log, which is like basically a checklist of 100 novels you're supposed to read in a lifetime, but I do generally really like classics, and I have never seen this cover before, and I absolutely love it, even if it's a mass market paperback, and my dad also really recommended this one. He really loved it. And I know about Ernest Hemingway as like a historical figure, but I haven't actually read any of his books, so I'm really interested to read this, love this cover, and check it off of my list. The other bookstore, Nice Price Books, I got a couple, I think I got a record, my dad found a couple of things, but I found this cloth-bound edition of Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh, and I have wanted to read this I don't know if it's considered a classic or it's a modern classic. This was published in the 40s, so I'm not exactly sure which line most people put this on, but this is a modern classic, or a classic that is kind of queer. It's written by a woman. The other classics that it's been compared to has made me think that I'm really gonna love this, and I love myself a cloth-bound edition, and I have tried my very best to find when this copy is from and if it is like at all valuable. I don't think it is, considering it was being sold for $5, but if anybody has any information or like ways for me to find this, let me know. And next up, we have a little unboxing. I am a subscriber to Book of the Month. They have not sponsored me, but I would absolutely love it if they did. I say I probably get one of these maybe a quarter, because I really do try to be picky with the books that I put onto my shelf when I'm paying for them, you know, for the most part, mostly retail. It's not quite retail price. But the book that I got was, oh, it's upside down. Of course it is. The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. My bookmark says, "Be mine, me to every book." I think I've been pretty picky with the thrillers that I pick up recently, but this one, first of all, her name's Julia. That's really close. It's green and it's about writers. I think a good theme for my book club, books about writers and readers and people who like books. But this is an isolated thriller, which is a trope that I really like. This is like a month-long retreat in a secluded mountain, snowy landscape. The person at this retreat who writes the best novel will get like a 7-figure deal, and it becomes very cutthroat. It's about female relationships, and I think this is something that I will really love. And I know that this is the Literally Dead book club pick, I believe, for April. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it in the month that it was chosen, but again, we're talking about like handwritten stuff that like juxtaposes the background. This one blends in a little bit more, but this is something that I really like in covers lately, and I love that the pages turn. I need to read more of my Book of the Month picks. Maybe I'll make a readathon for myself. We'll see. But I'm so excited to get to this one, especially because I have not been reading very many thrillers or horrors at all this year, and I need to change that. And I have 2 last books. One of them is The Divorce Colony by April White. This was sent to me by the people at Hatchet Books. I am part of the Hatchet Books social club, which was free to join, just like an email club, and you can request books. I think they mostly do nonfiction, if not entirely, but I got a book for my dad, and this one for myself. They did this for International Women's Month, and this is about this group of women in the 1800s. They founded their own town in South Dakota to become independent, and so they didn't have to be with their husbands anymore. And I think that this is going to be like a really fun historical nonfiction about something that I know very little about, and learning more about suffrage and women's rights and the historical context of all of those things is something that's really interesting to me. So I don't know when I will get to this, but I thank you so much to Hatchet Books for letting me have a copy. And the very last book I have to show to you is something that I got when my boyfriend and I and all of his friends went to this bookstore that had a blind date with a book. My boyfriend was like, "Julie, you have to get one of these books so you can make some content about it." And so we picked out one that said an artist gets trapped in a murder mystery, but it said it was historical fiction and not like a thriller. So I was really curious, and it ended up being The Bird Artist by Howard Norman. This is a literary fiction, historical fiction from the 90s. It is about this guy who lives in Newfoundland at the turn of the century, and he paints birds. First of all, I do actually really love this cover, but I don't know what to think about this, because this could be like an underrated gem, or maybe something that doesn't go so well. But yes, those are all of the books that I have acquired for not very much money at all in the last couple of months, and I know that I am going to be spending quite a bit of money pretty soon getting some more. Let me know if you have read any of these, what you thought of them, and what was the last book that you bought? And have you read it before? Do you buy more books that you've already read, or do you buy more books that you haven't read before? I think I buy more books that I've already read because I use my library all the time than I think the average person does. When it comes to a used book, I do not mind buying something that I'm not 100% sure is gonna be for me. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to follow me anywhere, including my Instagram, my book club, my Etsy, the other thousands of things that I do, my link is in the description with links to all of those things. And as always, I will see you in the next one.